on my honeymoon, I got multiple different calls from family and friends that were no like correlation with each other. They were at my wedding together, but they don't really know each other. And it was like, hey, you know that your sister was doing like drug deals in the back of where parking was for your wedding, right? And I'm like,
Welcome back to the Hopeaholics Podcast. I'm your girl, Natalie Eva Marie.
And I'm Chad Carlson, and you're listening to the #1 addiction and mental health podcast.
And you guys, if you or a loved one is struggling, make sure you head to askevamarie.com or chaddict.com and chat with one of our AI companions 24/7.
Or text the number right here on the screen.
Together, we are breaking the stigma around addiction and mental health.
And fighting the fentanyl epidemic.
Now, let's get into the episode.
Stephanie.
yes.
Welcome to the Hopeaholics Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. We're actually live and ready to go and rock and roll.
Like, this is it.
This is
cool.
it.
This is it, guys.
Game time.
I've been waiting for this for a while.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So,
How long?
well, you guys had posted that you were looking for people to come on your podcast. And I actually, when I reached out, it wasn't to be on the podcast. It was to thank you guys for posting the content that you post and the stories that obviously come from this. It gives people like myself hope, because I have alcoholism and addiction that runs in my family. And it's, yeah. So I sent you guys a message basically thanking you guys for posting that stuff or everything that you guys do. And then someone asked, I don't know exactly who it was, but they asked if I wanted to come on the podcast. And I was like, holy shit. Like, no, like, oh, this is crazy. And so I was like, yeah, I'd absolutely love that. And so I called my cousin freaking out, like, dude, there's this podcast and they asked me if I want to be on. And I just like dove right in. And she's like, you did not just dive right in. You've been talking about this and talking about writing a book or starting a podcast. And I recently started a clothing line based off of everything I've been through and my perspective as a sibling that has addiction in my family. And she's like, you did not just dive right in. Like, everything happens how it's supposed to, and timing is everything, and this is what's supposed to be happening. And I'm like, oh, this is why I call you for everything. She's like, yeah. So then the next day I was listening to an Alanis Morissette song, and it was, the lyric says, I recommend biting off more than you can chew. And I was like, yeah, I hear you. Okay, this is it. So here I am.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I haven't heard of Alanis Morissette in a minute. That was like I remember it takes me back to high school.
Oh, yeah. I just went to her 25-year reunion during COVID.
No way.
Amazing.
Really?
Like, legit amazing. Her voice is 10 times better in person than on her albums. Yeah.
25 years?
I know. I was like, shit, I'm getting old.
Wasn't that like, I thought I was just listening to Alanis Morissette.
Jagged Little Pill.
Oh.
Seriously. Crazy.
So, yeah.
That's cool. So I think I answered your DM, if I can remember it correctly. Because you talked about being a family member of people with addiction. And
Correct.
and what I want is, I like to have that perspective
Yeah.
of what it's like. Not just me, but because us addicts, we have no idea what we put the rest of the people through.
Right.
Like, at all.
Yeah.
And then we go to this, and then we get this recovery program, and we go dive in and work on ourselves, and we find God, and we clean our house, and we do all of this, and then we still don't realize what
I'm all.
has happened in the aftermath
Right.
of our aftermath, right?
Exactly.
That was so Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg of me, right? Huh? The aftermath of the aftermath.
Well, I think it's important, too, for other people that have family members, siblings, spouses, sons, daughters, cousins, friend, when they have a loved one that is struggling with a substance abuse problem or alcoholism, it gives them hope to understand that they're not alone either, because it's very difficult to watch someone that you love essentially kill themselves.
100%. And that's why it's funny, because my husband's like, I was telling him how excited I was about coming on the podcast, and he's like laying on our bed, and he's like, "Is that what you're marketing towards?" And I was like, "It's not what I'm marketing towards," because I started my clothing line, and I said, "It's not what I'm marketing towards, but my perspective as a sibling dealing with that in my family is the reason why I started this, for me to heal out loud and to give other people that have dealt with this in their families like a sense of hope, essentially, too.
Yeah.
And know that they're not alone. Like, it is a stigma, and it is like, you know, I say, oh, my sister's been a heroin addict for 20 years, and everyone's like,
right.
And I'm like, you're going to tell me that you don't have an alcoholic in your family? You're going to tell me that you don't have a cokehead in your family? Like, it's so prevalent, especially in the world that we live in. And I don't know. I think that mental health is hugely overlooked in the society that we've lived in for a long time. And I think that getting down to the nitty gritty of addiction and alcoholism, like, I think that a lot of that isn't addressed, and that's why that's why people end up doing that, and they numb themselves and all of those kind of things. And it's really sad. It's an epidemic, and it's been that way for so long, and it's like, it's hard to watch.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of things, I always said that, I would love to write a book, but I feel like I've walked on eggshells for so long because I don't want to rip my family apart.
Sure.
And it's like, I don't know, we're raised in the same exact household, Christian-based family, church every Sunday, vacation Bible study, youth groups, all the things. And I'm not saying, obviously, I believe in God. I'm not saying it's a save-all, whatever. Like, that's not going to force people to not make the choices that they make. But when you have two parents that have given us anything and everything possible, and you have the same morals and the same foundation instilled in both of you, and then one makes, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. We'll get back to that.
Yeah.
You know, you make one child makes these decisions and goes this way, and then I had a little bumpy road too, but then you go this way, and like you mature and you grow from your mistakes, and I don't know, it's crazy to see how someone can be in the same household, the same genetics, I think has a lot to do with it too, that we're like completely opposite. So I don't know. I guess my whole thing is like, people that deal with addiction think that they're alone, not just the addict, but family members, friends, cousins, like family friends of people, you know? And it's like, I don't know. It's just crazy.
Well, no, I mean, I hear you, because like, so, you know, we started this podcast because I lost my son-in-law to the fentanyl crisis on 9/11 of 2022. And that's when I joined this Recover Out Loud movement. It was kind of newer. People were just starting to like recover out loud, and you know, I mean, social media has like blown up, right? So although I've always talked about my addiction out loud and didn't care, it wasn't on any type of platform. Right. And so people weren't really doing that. And when we started this podcast, which I truly believe that we are the first ever of this style podcast, a lot has come since, and it's continuing to grow. And this is great, because the more people, even the people that are, you know, doing exactly what we're doing, more people are hearing about it.
Right.
And this is great for us addicts and people that are struggling and people that are in recovery. But what about I do my best. Like, we really actually do our best. We have an online Zoom meeting that we do every week, and all are welcome.
I know, I've hopped on.
Family members are welcome. Everybody's welcome. But still, most of the people that share are the addicts and the alcoholics that are in recovery. I think this idea and what you're talking about is great. And if you can create that, it's a bigger need than you can imagine, because here's the thing. Nowadays, you're only one person away from knowing somebody who's died from addiction, and mostly fentanyl, right? So it is a huge epidemic in America. And there are more people that, like, if families can start recovering out loud and helping us break the stigma, because you all live in stigma too.
Oh, every day. And it's crazy because, like I said, I've talked about writing a book, and I would call it Through the Lens of an Addict Sister.
Yeah.
And I'm actually a hairstylist, and my whole life we went to like family counseling. I ended up going to Nar-Anon family group meetings.
Yeah.
And it was basically to appease my parents. They told me like, hey, there's these meetings. This was when my sister was like active really bad. And I was like, I'm not going to that. I'm not the one with the problem. We went to family therapy, family, whatever, forever counseling. And I was like, like at this time I was already married with kids, and I was like, I'm not going to that. And so if something came over me and it was like, okay, go to this freaking meeting, right? And so I walk in, and I was pregnant with my son, and my daughter, I would leave her at home with my husband. And I walk into this meeting, and instantly I was like, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. And it's like, my parents were like, it's not for her. This is for you to learn how to cope and deal with addiction in our family. And I'm like, okay. Well, then fast forward, I ended up getting a sponsor. And it was about 3 years into me going like every Tuesday. And I got a sponsor because I realized that I can't only talk to my husband about this, and I definitely can't talk to my parents about it, because our perspective is completely different. She is not my child. She's my sibling, and my only sibling at that. So I got a sponsor, and she would give me like pamphlets and homework and like all of these things. And I'm like starting to finally heal things that I didn't freaking know I needed to even heal, And so I was like, hey, can we meet for coffee? Like, I just had some things on my heart I needed to get off my chest. And she's like, sure. And I was like, okay, hear me out. And she's like, what's up? And I said, I know I'm crazy. I said, but when we introduce ourselves into a meeting, it's like, hey, my name's Stephanie. My sister's my addict, right? I said, listen to this. How does this sound? I said, hi, my name's Stephanie. My sister's my addict, and my parents are addicted to my sister's addiction. And she was like, whoa. And I said, I have 3 addicts in my life, and it's like making me feel like I'm the one that's crazy when I'm over here. Like, I really believe that I got married and had kids at the right time, because essentially I feel like it saved me from a lot more turmoil than what I would have gone through if I didn't have those, I shouldn't say distractions, because they're not a distraction. They are me, my whole heart, But if I didn't have that purpose of being a wife and a mom, being wrapped up with this addiction, like, and it was bad. Like, I have stories for days. Like, I really think I would have like crumbled and not become, and it's really sad to say it this way. I try and look at like the silver lining of things. And I'm like, okay, if my sister wasn't an addict and my parents weren't this way and enabling and doing the things that they've done for her for so long, like, would I even be this person? And it sounds like weird to say it that way, but I'm like, it's made me in a sense like so strong. And I know I come off like, oh yeah, I'm a badass, but like, I'm a big baby. Like, I'm so like emotional. My husband's always like, you're so sensitive. And I'm like, because everything that I've gone through, like, once I got married and had the kids, I was like, I love succulents, and the meaning behind succulents is everlasting love. And I'm like, I have that, Sorry.
No.
We like crying around
like,
here.
I told
Let it
myself,
out.
gosh darn it, I'm not going to cry.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, you
Right.
are.
Yes, you
I'm
are.
like, yes, I am.
Yes, you are.
So I don't know. It's like, it's so crazy to watch not just a sibling, but like your parents that you feel like you know them, everything about them. And then it's like addiction hits. So I'll start by my mom. I'm trying to portray everything with as much grace and love as I can, because I know my parents are going to watch this.
Before you go into any of that, I want to say something to you, your parents, and to the world, that what you guys experience is normal.
Yes.
Your parents being codependent and having an addiction. It is an addiction per se to the child, that the lost child, right? The one that is like screwing up and literally causing all the turmoil in the family. All the attention goes there. This is all very normal and stuff that we deal with all the time. That's why if, people, when they do get into recovery, if they don't find a family program, sometimes it's really hard for the addict to get sober. But and it's
Right.
like, that's what I was saying in the beginning too, that when we do find recovery, we find 12-step meetings and other things, and treatment centers, and other therapy, and we end up like getting healthy. But what about y'all?
Right.
Y'all have to heal too, because like, look, I can take responsibility for the damage that I caused in my family's life, and now here I am, I'm okay. But what about you?
Yeah.
And so before you started down that road, I just wanted everybody to know that this is normal.
Right.
Like there's
completely agree.
There's nothing wrong with any of you guys. It's just that we don't know. Like nobody gave the families a playbook on how to deal with the addict.
Right. Yeah.
Although it was good for you to walk into a Nar-Anon meeting, there's also Al-Anon for family members of alcoholics, and there is a 12-step program for the families.
Yes.
And then there's other really good programs out there, which Betty Ford was one of the first treatment centers to start a family program. And it's for healing for you guys, because you guys have to heal too.
Oh.
And then on top of that, what if what I'm doing as a parent is actually, I'm doing it out of pure love and fear? If those two can coexist, they can in these situations.
They do.
Love, I love you, but I'm so afraid that you're gonna die if I don't love you and do all these things. And most of the time, the things that they're doing are wrong because they don't know.
Right. And to add to that, I feel like, I don't know if I'm saying this right, you can't love someone sober.
No.
You can't help someone that doesn't want help.
No.
And
You can help them hit a rock bottom, though.
well, in the words of my sister, her rock bottom has a basement, and that basement has a door. And I'm like, how do you even come up with that analogy? Like, what? So that, there's, I don't know. Like mentally, I'm like, wow, are you even mentally sound to understand what you're even saying? Because my sister's used hard narcotics since I'd say she was 17.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so essentially, if you're still using, from my knowledge, addicts tend to be at the mature age of where they started using.
I'm still a 13-year-old
Yeah.
boy sometimes.
And it's like, I don't know like statistically how that is, but I'm like, how did you even come up with that? Your rock bottom has a basement, and that basement has a door. But then I'm like, well, okay.
So we can always keep digging.
Yeah. But then I'm like, is it because there's enabling that has happened for so long too?
Sure.
For sure.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. I can go back to my mom. She found a weed pipe in my sister's room when she was in 6th grade. And I don't know what she did. I think she smashed it with a hammer, might have kept it for herself. I don't know. I'm like, I could have taken that. But I'm like, 6th grade. My daughter is going to be, well, she's 14. And when she was in 6th grade, like I have these moments of like my childhood going through the stuff that I went through that I'm like, 6th grade, if I found a weed pipe in my daughter's room, like I'd whoop her ass. Like, what? And so then it was just like she had like social issues. And actually, I'm going to back it up a little bit. Around 8 years old, for my sister. We're 4.5 years apart. I'm older. And they were talking about her possibly being bipolar. And obviously, vaguely, I can remember, because that was a really long time ago, that they didn't want to medicate her. And I've had a conversation with my mom, and she, like, you know, it's like I barely poke the bear and, like, say anything about my sister, or, you know, the past, or what if we did this, or what if you guys could have done that. It's like World War III. And I don't mean it in like a, you should have done this, or, oh, you failed, or, and it's not that. It's like, I've tried to pinpoint, like, okay, like I said, we were raised in the same household, the same family, same morals, and all of these things. All of the, like, literally, my husband's like, you guys were so spoiled. Like, we had everything. I literally can look back and say I had the perfect childhood until we started having these kind of issues. And so I don't know. They didn't medicate her. I've had a conversation with my mom, and she's like, they never diagnosed her. And I said, okay. Like, what do I say to that? You know? And to me, as the years went on, she's medicating herself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that's the disease of addiction is like the use of substances has nothing to do. It's actually the solution to the internal hell that we live in.
Right.
You know, and so it's it is in essence, we're self-medicating whatever underlying issue it is, and it varies from, you know, trauma to mental health issues, bipolar, ADHD. I mean, you name it. You know, sexual traumas. And here's the other part about all of it is with a family, because I'm the only addict in my family. Crazy, right? We all were raised the same, but then Natalie can tell you a completely different story. But every person's personality is totally different. And so what you perceived as a perfect childhood
perception
was probably I told
my client the other day, I was like, we live with these illusions.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then as we've gotten older, like, I've had a lot of epiphanies since COVID. I had started doing, like, HIIT training.
Sure.
And I never understood what, like, runner's high meant.
Yep.
I played soccer for 15 years. So
Yep.
I was like, well, I've never had that.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I experienced this epiphany in the garage one day, and it was like this song had come on. And it didn't remind me of me and my mom, like, no significance, like, behind that. But it was like, I can remember listening to that in, like, our station wagon,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's just literally, like, in the middle of my workout, palms to the face, like, bawling, crying. And I'm like, what the heck? And I think it's because of when I was younger, I, like, idolized my mom, stay-at-home mom, you know, houses spick and span. She'd outside doing all the weeding.
Yep.
And, like, all of the things. Dinner on the table at 5. Like, me and my sister's hair was never out of place. Like, it was awesome. She'd, like, flex and wear a, like, thong bikini outside.
Yeah.
I'm like, she's a badass, like, Wonder Woman. And then after all of these things and instances that have gone on, dealing with my sister's stuff and my dad and, like, all these things, I'm like, holy shit. Like, I don't idolize that illusion that I had of my mom now, after going through everything we've gone through. And it's so sad, because it's like, it doesn't take away, like, the love I have for my mom or my dad. It's just different, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, but I think the hardest thing is, like, admitting the truth with certain things. And I'm like, I don't know, like, it's just crazy.
Well, I think it's such an important conversation to have, because think about just you sitting here right now and you talking about certain instances from even just, like, being a child or growing up and having that difficulty to understand the vast change in direction that you took versus your sister. And going off of, like, what Chad's saying is, when you are in recovery, you know, we find the 12 steps and we find a higher power, and we have all these workbooks and sponsorship and service work, and we're doing this constant work. But you guys need your own work too,
The same
because there's a
thing.
lot of things that happen from your own perspective, your own lens, like you said,
Yeah.
that you're going to stuff away, and it'll spill out, maybe not in substance abuse, but it'll spill out in relationships. It will spill out into how you are with your friends, or even your other relationships with your parents, and this, that, and the other. And it's like, you have your own perspective because you are the sibling. Your parents have theirs because it is their child. So
Right.
those are two totally different instances to actually have to consume and kind of deal with. I do love the fact that you said how your parents are addicted to your sister's addiction.
It like hit me like a ton of bricks when I finally realized that. I've never even said that to my parents.
I mean, it's kind of wild because I kind of can see it exactly that, not only from like my own personal family, but also just to other people that I've watched, because it does become, for a lot, even for clients that come into our facilities, you have an individual trying to get well, that they've been wanting them to get well. And then the family is so addicted to their addiction that they cannot even handle them getting well because they're so used to
They're
them
so
being
used to it.
unwell.
Right.
So that's even something that has to get addressed also. Like, everybody has to go seek some type of something. You know, the good thing about your parents is that they did kind of push you to hit a meeting, to like walk into that room pregnant and actually see something where you're like, oh, damn, maybe this is what they were talking about.
Yeah.
You know, because what if you never found that? What if you were never able to? Then you spill out and you just are a pain in the ass to your husband.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I literally cannot only talk to my husband about this because my husband and I, we've also been friends since we were 10 years old.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that's something I want to talk about too.
Yeah.
But like, you literally married your 5th grade crush.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah.
Who was
like
my
unheard
5th grade
of.
crush?
I remember my 5th grade crush.
Well, I was in 6th grade, I think, when I had my first. Her name was Becca Vitale.
Oh.
Joey
I even
Driscoll.
remember her full name.
I
wonder,
did too.
You know,
Joey Driscoll.
what is it?
Joey Driscoll.
Driscoll. That sounds like a really nerdy name, like Joey Driscoll.
Shout out to the Driscolls. They're still family
Okay,
friends.
sorry.
Like, well, and then
Sorry,
I got
guys. If
Ryan-
you guys ever watch
and
it.
I played soccer with his actually now
Okay,
wife. and
Driscoll's a
they're
cool
nurses.
name.
Yeah.
I swear.
No, he was. You can say a nurse though. They did well.
Well, and then we got Ryan Balber, and he's just the IT guy in my house. My daughter's like, yeah, my dad, he's just the IT guy.
That's hilarious.
That is funny though.
That is
I wonder,
wild.
does everybody remember their 5th, 6th grade
I
crush?
think maybe.
Yeah, I think
Emily,
so.
who was yours?
See?
Ben
Wow.
Fernandez.
Look at that. What about you, Lewis?
Lewis,
Nope, too long. Huh.
you didn't have one?
Wow.
His was what are those little cards? Dragon Ball Z cards. Pokemon? Was it Pokemon? What? I'm just
insane.
playing. But look, everybody has a right to their feelings. And one of the things about recovery that we get to find, and I hesitate to ask this question, but I'm assuming that your sister is still in active addiction of some sort,
Damn.
which is rough in and of itself. That's a long time.
And it tears families apart
It
because of this.
tears them apart.
That's why it's so important to have this conversation, and you have so much courage for actually talking about it out loud and healing out loud. Because if you don't, you just keep all of that inside, and you don't end up living your own purposeful life because you're so consumed with trying to get well someone that you love.
Yes,
Nailed it.
and so that is, and she did nail it. I agree, 110%. The other part that I was getting to right before that is that in recovery, we realize that we now have to take responsibility for the way we feel. And no longer can we really, because when we start doing the work, even where you're at right now, we can no longer really blame your sister, blame your parents, because now you can get into action. When you stop playing that however it was, we call it a victim mentality, and we get in and we start working on ourselves, and we're like, oh crap, you know what? I'm responsible. I'm a grown adult now, and I'm responsible for the way I feel. But sometimes some of the things that you say might even be a little bit, tough for the family to hear.
Oh, I don't think my parents are going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you for being on here. like saying the things that I'm saying. But it's like, we can go back years. Alcoholism runs on both sides of my parents' families. And we have a few people in our family that are addicts. Mm-hmm. And obviously, I'll go back to how I said I wasn't perfect earlier. I got a DUI when I was between 21 and 22. And I can honestly say it's the best thing that ever happened to me because I was on a road to destruction. Long story short, was with my ex-boyfriend for 5 years, asked my best friend to sleep with him, and I just spiraled and got my DUI. And I was like, that's it. I told my parents in jail, I was like, I'm not coming home if dad gives me a hard time. I want nothing. I'm a grown adult. I made my mistake. I make my own money. I had a really good job. And I was like, I'm going to make sure that I do right by the mistakes that I make. And I did. I went home. He's, till this day, never said one word to me about it.
Did you know that?
Wow.
That you, so one of the definition, and we can only self-diagnose truly, right? Like an addict, an alcoholic can really, I mean, we can all look at somebody and be like, okay, I know my sibling, and they're definitely an addict. But until they actually admit that they're an addict, and you can even admit that you're an addict and not want help, right? I knew I was an addict for a long time before. I actually just didn't even know that recovery existed. But merely by you getting a DUI and saying, shit, I'm not going to do that again, takes away the whole concept of her being an alcoholic, right? An alcoholic doesn't gets a DUI. A non-alcoholic gets a DUI and says, oh, I fucked up. I need to not do that again. An alcoholic can say, oh, damn, I screwed up. I'm going to try not to drink so much next time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Or I got caught. Fuck.
Yeah.
I'm unlucky.
Yeah, I'm unlucky. Oh, the blame game's the best. For an alcoholic.
That goes for a long time.
Oh,
too.
everybody does it. I just got caught.
Totally.
Yeah, everybody does it. No, they don't.
Mm-mm. No, the normal people.
Normal
are like
people
you.
don't freaking do.
They make a mistake and then they're like, "Oh shit."
So what's crazy? I got pulled over because my tags were expired. I was leaving a bar and I'm like, "Fool, like you pulled me over." Not fool. I actually wanted to be a cop. I was like, I wanted to be a cop forever. Ex-boyfriend, I was talking about, helped him through the police academy. I was going to go in after him, and everything happened how it happened. Asked my best friend, and still to this day, I don't know if anything happened. I don't care if anything happened. But then, of course, I was like, oh, fuck the cops. Like, and I'm like, I'm not like that. I'm 100% behind the boot, but it just changed me.
You asked her to sleep with him because you wanted...
No, he asked her.
He asked her.
Oh,
come on, that's like
I was
way different.
Calm down.
Yeah, calm down.
No, I
was following what you were spitting.
No, I was.
I have no idea where you were at.
I thought she was setting him up. I thought she set him up.
No,
is how I took it. Huh? I thought you were saying. I thought you said that you asked her to sleep with him to see if he would say yes.
No.
He asked her.
Oh, okay.
To sleep with him, and she didn't tell me for like months. Whether it happened or not, I don't know. I don't care.
Right.
But then it just changed my whole perspective of like, oh, all cops are the same, you know? And I was like, okay, like it just totally made me detour not wanting to be a police officer. So then fast forward to a couple years ago, I had seen a report through Fontana PD that they had confiscated like $2 million worth of fentanyl pills. And they were looking to hire people. And so because I've always wanted to be a police officer, I was like, okay, well, now that I've dealt with addiction in my family, maybe I can go down this road and see like where that takes me. And so I reached out to one of my girlfriends and I was like, hey, do I have to go through like the police academy to do this? And I think it just hit me because not only does addiction run in my family, but my kids are also at an age in the world that we live in that I'm like, don't take anything from anybody.
Nobody.
Don't share candy. Don't even share food. Like middle school, my daughter's a freshman in high school, and I'm like, I like can't shake it into them enough that I'm like, don't. Like, you never know. You don't know who to trust. Like, it's just my daughter. Oh, so-and-so, my teacher gives us Skittles. I'm like, don't take it. She's like, it's my teacher. I'm like, I don't care. Like, you don't know. You don't know other people's motives. Like, maybe my husband, he's like, calm down. I'm like, I'm not going to calm down. Like, it's not a joke. It's a scary world that we live in. And I'm like, this whole fentanyl thing is crazy. So then ended up being that I would have to go through the police academy to work on the, obviously, task force that they were looking for. And I was like, well, I can't leave my kids right now. So about probably 6 months after that, my sister got arrested. And I usually only hear certain things from my mom when something's happened. And I said, well, what was she arrested for? And it was her and her boyfriend arrested because someone had called on them as a suspicious vehicle. And they came out and confiscated fentanyl and tools used for burglary. And to me, I'm like, when I told my mom, I was like, fentanyl? I'm like, Mom, I told you this a couple years ago. Like, okay, we all know, like, heroin addicts don't live forever. Like, if they're, like, constantly going and going, there's an overdose possibly, you know? And I said, and then add fentanyl on top of this. Like, what? Like, Mom, like, it's so wild. And she's like, well, the fentanyl wasn't on her. I'm like, okay.
Well, I just
Okay,
want to be
that's
almost clear with everybody that heroin doesn't even really exist out on the streets anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very hard to find. And all heroin addicts, I don't want to say all, the majority of heroin addicts are using fentanyl today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because that's what's out on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
So there is
Scary.
Yeah, it is scary.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to your mom.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's tough because it's your sibling. So it's how you're going to approach it is like, what the fuck? Like, as a mom, I deal with it because I deal with my mom. And I love her to death. Mom, you're the best. And, you know, I love you. And I think that they have a hard time with their child being in active addiction because I think internally they want to save their kid, but they actually don't have the power to do so. And it's hard to think like, and it has nothing to do with per se them, but they can't help to think that they did something wrong or something of that degree. So it's a hard pill for them to swallow. So they're going to always like enable.
For sure.
And make excuses for.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's difficult for a sibling like yourself, or else it's like, don't pick the fight because the fight's going to happen and then you're going to feel bad and then the mom's going to start crying.
I have literally, for probably 10 years up until about COVID, and I'll tell you why, but I ate crow. I walked on eggshells. I was like, I don't want to be the reason why I give my parents any more hurt or disappointment in the lifetime that, I mean, my parents are 70. Sure. Well, they'll be 70. And I'm like, okay. I mean, they're healthy, thankfully, but it's like, why do I want to add to any of that? And recently I had a conversation with my mom and I told her, I said, because of course we're like talking about like wills and shit like that we normally don't want to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about that, but it's a part of life and you have to. And which I'm appreciative that they are getting those kind of things squared away, because at the end of the day, I told my mom, I said, do you know how intimidating it is that if something happens to you or dad or together or whatnot, it all lands on me? And I was like, it's scary and it sucks. And then in a weird way, I'm like, okay, but then I have this heroin addict sister that's going to be coming at me sideways. Like, what do I get? And I'm like, I told my dad, I was like, I don't want anything. I don't need anything. I can take care of myself. I have a husband that takes care of me and my kids. Like, and I didn't mean it in a, oh, I don't want your shit, or, oh no, like, I don't care. It was that the perspective of, I'm not over here like looking, what am I going to get? And what am I going to sell to get my drugs? If that makes sense.
Of course.
You know? So I don't know. Like, I don't know. I keep going back to the word illusion. Like, there's so many things that it is all an illusion, and it's crazy. Like, the wool pulled over my parents' eyes for so long of like, the first time I found out that my sister was actually using like hard narcotics was on my honeymoon. I got multiple different calls from family and friends that were no like correlation with each other. They were at my wedding together, but they don't really know each other. And it was like, hey, you know that your sister was doing like drug deals in the back of where parking was for your wedding, right? And I'm like, that's embarrassing. Like, that's my wedding day, you know? I'm like, these are like big moments, you know? I'm like, okay, so of course I'm on my honeymoon in Hawaii. Like, I didn't travel when I was younger, so I'm like cloud 9. Like, this is rad, you know? And so then we come home and we went out to eat or something, and we saw one of my sister's friends that I thought was like a best friend. And she's like, oh, like randomly, oh, well, how's your sister? And I'm like, kind of like caught me off guard. I'm like, what do you mean, how's my sister? And she's like, oh, I don't talk to her anymore. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, I can't hang around people that are doing what she's doing. And I'm like, what do you mean? And so it just constituted the text messages that I was getting, that it went from smoking weed, probably doing coke in high school, to boom, now you're doing heroin. And so I didn't know how to tell my parents, because I'm the bitch sister. That's the real one. And in reality is this, you know. And I sat down and I wrote my parents an email, because I was like, I had to get it all out. You know, like when you're talking in person, it's like, oh, shit, I forgot to say that. Or, hey, I meant to say it this way. Or, you know. And so that's where that all started. And I was like, wow, like, I can't believe this is really happening. That, like, this isn't just like, yeah, I had a couple drinks in high school. Mm-hmm. This is life-changing. And how are we going to try and get her help, if that's even if she wants it.
This episode is brought to you by Wolfpack Bags. This gear is meant for anybody gym, lifestyle, to anybody that's on the move. I mean, I like to say that us here and everybody that tunes in, we're not average. We're always a wolf. They have all the goods that you need, especially for anybody that is looking for a bag to carry their meal prep, a lunch pail, anything like that. They have you covered. So once again, go to wolfpack.com, use the code Hopeaholics, save 10%, and join the pack.
You know? So it was...
How are your parents with everything now? Do they go to meetings, or do they... Because you said that you went to like family counseling and stuff for quite some time.
When we were going to Nar-Anon family group meetings, I had gone for about 5 years. And in that 5 years, around the 3-year mark, is when my parents stopped going, because they said, if she's not working her program, we're not working ours. And I said, you haven't learned anything from these meetings. And I think that they were upset at the time that I had gotten a sponsor, because they couldn't brainwash me anymore. If that's the way to say it, you know? And I'm like, no, like, we family members deserve peace in our own life and purposeful, like how you said earlier, you nailed it on the head. I'm like, now my purpose is my marriage and my kids, and then myself, you know? And I'm like, I literally have helped and driven my sister to 12 rehabs, and she walked out of every single one of them. And it got to a point where the last one, because my parents were still working at the time, my daughter was probably 5. My son was like 2.5, 3. And I can literally, you know, when instances happen and you like relive it and you can feel it like it was yesterday. My daughter was like, why is Auntie not coming home with us? And I'm like, because we did live with my parents for like a year. And I'm like, she's going to stay here and get healthy so she can be a good auntie. And she's like, but she is a good auntie. I love her. And it just broke me to see my kids starting to be affected and understanding certain things that were happening. So I called my mom and I was like, this is it. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, I'm not helping her anymore. I said, it is now, like, after 12 rehabs, I'm like, okay, something's got to give at some point, right? And then it's like, I'm not raising my kids to think that this lifestyle is normal. You know, I'm literally standing in a rehab with, like, my baby on my hip and my other one right here, and I'm, like, signing paperwork for my sister, and it's like, I know this sounds so fucked up to say it like this. I'm like, she's high as fuck and doesn't even know, like, she doesn't care. She's numb. She's not dealing with the emotional turmoil of not even having to take care of herself at the moment because she can't. you know? And I'm like, I don't know. And it hurt me to say I'm never helping her again. And she did end up getting sober for a little bit after she got pregnant. She got pregnant. Baby was taken away by CPS. The next morning, contacted or showed up at my parents' house and, hey, do you want to take this baby? And my parents were like, very clearly, no. We've told her from the beginning that you need to raise your kids. Like, my parents are not 40, 35, you know? And, yeah, so he actually ended up going into foster care. And my sister fought and got him back. Went to school to be a drug and alcohol counselor. Started working at a rehab. She was living back with my parents with my nephew, like raising him there. And at that time, it was like, this is as normal as it's going to get between us as siblings. And I know, like, my mom's heart, my dad's heart was like, okay, like, this is it. Like, everything's better. Like, everything's fine, you know? It got to a point where she would come over, we'd cook dinner, pick up the kids from school, go shopping, like all those things. And she had come over, I think we went in halves on something for my parents for like Christmas. And so I owed her like cash. And so she came over, it was a Sunday night, and her 2.5-year-old son, who's never been on like a normal schedule, is like bouncing off the walls and acting all crazy. And I'm like, it's just like, I don't know. We have a routine in my household, and I just was like, what the heck? And she was kind of acting strange. And I'm like, I told my husband when she left, I was like, she had always worn like a lot of makeup, but when she was in like active addiction, she would wear like these crazy long false eyelashes. And it was to cover up, like maybe she thought it covered up the look of like, oh, you look like shit right now, you know? But it didn't. It just made it worse. And so I remember her acting kind of strange. And I was like, I told my husband when she left, I was like, I feel like she was just acting weird. Like, it was the first time in those like couple years of her being sober that I was like, okay, I'm always the bearer of bad news, right? And it's like, I look like oh, you're just a bitch, right? You're just calling her out. Like, you're accusing of things. And so my husband's like, well, and I was like, no, I don't even want to bring it up. Like, maybe it's just me and like the triggers from knowing how she's looked in active addiction. So she leaves, and about 3 weeks later, it was Christmas, and she showed up to my house, and my husband, he makes us a video of all of our pictures and like videos throughout the year, because he's like the IT guy, right? And so we always show it to our family that's over. We host like on the holidays, and we're watching this video, and I look over, and my sister is like full blown like nodding off on my couch, like with a plate of appetizers ready to like fall and just like go over, which whatever, I clean up messes all the time. But like the fact that you're coming down and I'm the one that notices it, and then I look over and my husband's staring at me like, and so I'm like, I pull my mom aside and I'm like, hey, like, she's coming down. And it's like, no, you know, my nephew had been sick that week, and you know, she's just a tired mom. And I'm like, Mom, I've been a mom for years. Like, I know what it's like to be tired, you know? And she's like, no, it's not. And I'm like, okay, that's when denial sets in, right? So I'm like, okay, like, I just want to let you know, like, I feel like it looked like she was like nodding off. All right. About half hour later, I catch her using in my bathroom.
Oh, shit.
And I said, she walked out, and I told my mom, she's never welcome here again. And that was, Christmas will be 7 years.
Oh, damn.
Since I've talked to her or seen her.
Oh, wow.
Fast forward, she ends up going to rehab. My parents keep my nephew because it's normalcy for him, right? And shows up to my parents' house a couple months later telling police officers that my parents are keeping my nephew from her. And because she technically had custody, cops are just doing their job here you go. So my parents hired an attorney, and they have custody of him till he's 18.
Which they didn't originally want, but
Right.
very much respect that decision of theirs to do that because of the normalcy, you
Right.
know, the child. I want to let you know though that everything you're describing, that's what we do, and I don't want to like normalize it or desensitize it in any way, shape, or form. I more so want to say that so that all of the other addicts and people in recovery that are hearing this podcast realize that what we do doesn't just affect us. Like, and then just because we get clean doesn't mean that our siblings, our parents, our loved ones, our spouses don't remember. And the other shitty part about it is like, man, if you're an addict like I am, or you're an alcoholic or a blackout person, half the shit that you guys witness or go through or that we put you through, we don't even remember.
Yeah. I'm very aware of that.
And I do want to just correct you on one thing. If your sister was nodding out, she wasn't coming down. She was going up.
Oh, yeah.
Meaning that she had already gotten loaded. Because when you want heroin, and if she's an opiate addict, all opiates for the most part, but heroin, like when you do heroin, you just you go to sleep. So she probably had used before you caught her.
Yeah. Well,
in your bathroom.
Well,
or wherever.
It was probably before she got there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like right before she got there.
Before. Yeah. Makes sense.
But I want to say too is this, and we've said it before on the podcast, especially with parents. Everyone's gonna have like a certain line, a certain boundary. You know, yours was that day, and that's good on you because I have my certain line with my siblings, and my parents have theirs, and I'm totally okay with that, and I'm fine with that. But I have mine, and certain things and everyone's going to be very, very different with where their line is and what they're comfortable allowing someone, whether it's a sibling or just a loved one or a spouse or whatever, in their life. Because at a certain point, it's like, no, now it's too much. I can only help for as much as is okay for me to be okay with, and then it's on you.
Right.
Because other than that, you're just playing me at this point. And all I'm doing is serving your addiction. Yeah. And it's doing you no good, and it's doing definitely me no good.
It ends up harming both people.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like it if you continue, and that's the thing though, and that's what people don't know, is some people would do things different if they knew what different looked like. But also from a parent's perspective, and you're a parent now, if one of your children are down that road and they because like the disease of addiction doesn't matter where we come from, how great we were raised, how much morals or ethics or anything. Some of us are born without a stop button. And if we use and we find that whatever it is that we were looking for our whole entire lives, because addicts have an emptiness inside of them. And not to say that normal people don't, but like I never felt like normal. I never felt like all the rest of the kids in the playground. I always felt different. Like I believe that I came out this way. It wasn't necessarily, yes, I had some trauma and stuff that pushed me to try drugs and alcohol at an earlier age than the normal person. But once I found, and my drug of choice happened to be methamphetamines, once I did that the first time, I felt like I had arrived. I was like, why didn't somebody tell it? All of a sudden, the big lie of addiction that the disease tells us or the drug tells us is that, this is how you're supposed to feel. And if you continue doing this every day for the rest of your life, you'll be normal just like the rest of the people. And then the disease starts, right? Or the dis-ease, and it becomes chronic, progressive. And honestly, if left untreated, it is a fatal disease.
I've never heard it dis-ease.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a family disease and a chosen disease. And I didn't understand what chosen disease was until my sister, like the Christmas day I'm talking about, when I found her in my bathroom and all that stuff. I'm like, I told my dad, I said, she has now 2 children. And I said, if that can't keep her sober, what's going to?
Nothing. Your own child can't keep.
No one can.
No.
Nobody can. The only person that can is you. But you have to get sober first, and that's the thing. So like, she had the window of sobriety, and like I can understand the concept of a chosen disease. Like maybe not the first time because nobody had told me that what I was doing was wrong, right? But then when I found recovery, today I have a choice. I have a choice to work on my recovery and work on myself every single day.
Or not.
And if it becomes an or not, I might not get loaded today, and I might not even get loaded tomorrow, but eventually resting on my laurels is what, they talk about in the Alcoholics Anonymous program. Eventually, if I rest on my laurels long enough, I'll forget. And then and then I make a choice. Well, I made a choice way back here to not work my program. And
that disease starts becoming dis-ease, meaning it spills out into his marriage, his wife, kids.
I start becoming restless, irritable, and discontent. Like literally, if I don't put God first, if I don't put spirituality in my life, because if I could explain addiction to anybody, it's not some crazy scientific brain disease. Like I truly believe in what Alcoholics Anonymous wrote a long time ago. We have a spiritual malady. Like addicts and alcoholics are extremely spiritually sensitive, and we have a God-sized hole, and I think the whole world has a God-sized hole in them. Most people just that they might have a different unstop button. It might be food, it might be just acting out, it might be just straight misery, right? But we try to shove everything we can, whether it be sex, love, gambling, food, porn, whatever. We try to shove all that in there.
And food.
And food, drugs. Drugs, drugs is the thing. And then when I find the drugs, it's like, I'm done, man. And then it's like the devil takes over for me.
Well, that's the jump off. It's like, that's why it's a twofold disease. We have very different, our brain is different than others, meaning like our mental obsession is far more significant than like the normal person. You get a DUI and all of a sudden you have the brain capacity to understand and be like, whoa, I'm headed down the wrong road. Ours is like, we just obsess on like, how are we going to get it so that we don't get caught the next time?
Yeah, we want to drink and not get caught.
Right. And then we have the physicality.
We want to shoot heroin and not get caught at the Christmas fucking dinner. That is literally what your sister's thinking. Like, oh, I can get away with this. Like
for sure. Yeah.
Now back to the recovery part. Like the one thing that actually, and we get a daily reprieve. Like if I don't do this work every day, and I made a decision because I was clean for 9 years and went back out and made my family's life miserable. I had children. I had everything you could ever imagine, but I heard them all of them along the road.
Yeah.
And for me though, the guilt, because I'm sure somewhere in there in your sister is a ton of shame, a ton of guilt, and she just continues to use and use and use.
But that's not your problem.
It's not your problem. It is her problem.
Yeah.
Because
You
she's
know?
got to, get out of that cycle of, it's like running on a fucking hamster wheel,
Yeah.
chasing nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah. So crazy. So a couple years ago, I started having like super crazy like spiritual energy around me that I could like feel things, see things, smell things, and like I was kind of like, it got to a point where I was like, dude, I feel like I'm crazy. And so I was doing one of my clients' hair, and she's like, you need to go see one of my friends. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, she's a medium. And I was like, nope. I was raised in a Christian family. It's against my religion.
Sure.
Like, no. And she's like, and I've actually been to one before, and it was so spot on. It spooked me. And I was like, nope, like never again. Right. And so I was like, okay, give me your damn Instagram handle, and like, I'll follow her and like see what's up. Right.
Sure.
So this woman is like amazing, like this light in people's lives. And she's just so like, I don't know, positive. Right. And so something in me kept probably for a couple months, like checking her availability. Like subconsciously, I wasn't even realizing I was doing it. Like while I'm sitting in the car waiting for the kids to get out of school.
Sure.
And I was like, dude, what the hell? So I was like, you know what? I have nothing to lose. I'm going to see what this is all about. Right. So I book a session with her. And long story short, I feel like they say like spirit, whoever you think is around you, and what your gut intuition tells you it is, like it's who you think it is. Right. And so my grandma, my dad's mom, passed when I was 5. She was diabetic, sick, needed a blood transfusion. She ended up passing away at Kaiser. It was their fault. It was like malpractice, basically.
Oh, wow.
So I get there to the medium's house, and she's like, hey, park in my driveway. I'm like, all right. So I park in the driveway. I see her other client leave. She texts me, give me a few minutes. I'm like, okay. So I see her, like, she comes out of her house, and she's like, hey, she's like, oh my gosh, you have a new Bronco. I was like, it's my husband's. I just drive it every day. And she's like, I have to tell you, I normally don't meet my clients outside, but I had to come and tell you that you've had a grandmother figure here waiting for you since before you got here. And part of me was like, like, just go home. Like, this is too much, right? And so long story short, I'm like starting to tell her, like, well, she's actually, people are coming through, my grandma's coming through, and she's asking me like, hey, does drug addiction, is there like that kind of going on? And I'm like, well, yeah. Anyway, so after we talk about things, she goes, I get the feeling you've been wanting to reach out to your sister. And I'm like, she's not wrong for like probably not so much now, like the past couple years, but for a few years, I was like, and I couldn't bring myself to do it. Like, we're still friends on Facebook, right?
Sure.
She follows me on Instagram. She now follows my clothing line. And I'm like, well, I'm very open about why I started this, you know? And my sixth sense of humor, she liked something the other day, and I was like, oh, she's alive. And other people would think like, what the fuck? And to me, I'm like, but that's the reality of what we've lived through for so long, that I'm like, okay. And on the dark side of things, I'm like, every single day, I'm like, am I going to get a call that my sister overdosed? Am I going to get a call that my parents, things have kind of calmed down a little bit. Not her using, just with how things have been. Like, they're raising my nephew, they're getting older, they're not working anymore. Like, I'm living my life. But I'm like, okay. At one point, I was like, am I going to get a call that my mom had a stroke, a stress-induced stroke, or I don't know, a heart attack, or how much can someone take as a parent? Like, I've had vivid thoughts of, oh my gosh, are one of my parents gonna like off themselves? Like, how much can they take mentally? Like, they literally have given and given and given and done everything possible, and in their eyes, like, nothing's working, you know? And so I know that reaching out to my sister is not good for me, because I know what comes with that. And I'm not willing to live in like that toxic, chaotic, crazy environment all the time. And I refuse to let that into my kids' lives right now, because they're also like in an age where it's like they're so like impressionable. And I'm like, I don't want them to think like, oh, that's cool. Like, no, it's not fucking cool, you know? So I don't know. So she was like, the medium said, now's not the time. Your sister's not your sister anymore. Her body's just a shell. And I was like, well, in a sense, like, I already know that. And it's weird. Like, when I talk to my clients, like, they're like, oh, do you go to therapy? I'm like, no, but I meditate, I lift weights, I walk all the time. I just did a Reiki session and I talk to mediums. That's my therapy. My therapy is like the love I put into my family. And she's like, that's just crazy. I'm like, I just can't think about having that toxic craziness in my household now with my kids when we're trying to teach them, like, hang out with good people, make good choices, don't share shit at school. And it's, I don't know, the world that we're living in, it's so scary. I don't know. I everything in me is like, I can only pray that my kids don't go down the road of just hanging around with one wrong person, because it gets to a point where it's like, I was never okay with peer pressure. I just told my dad this story. I walked into a party in high school. Actually, it was probably right after high school. And I was like super naive. Give me a pack of cigarettes all day, maybe a couple drinks, cool. But when I walk into a party and there's like your old school like coffee table, right? It's like the oak brown with like the glass in the middle, and it's like lines of Coke. And I walk around like, I don't even know what the hell that is, right? And this dude's like, hey, like, you guys want a bump? And I'm like, oh, what? Like, I don't know what that means. And he's like, Coke. And I'm like, I still didn't know what he meant, right? And I realized, I'm like, that's fucking drugs. And I looked at her and I said, I'm not down with that. I was like, this isn't my scene. I was like, if you want to stay, cool. I was like, but I'm leaving, and if you need a ride, call me. Never called me, and I left. And it's funny because, like, I normally don't, like, open up to my dad a lot because it's all about, like, what he's gone through, how he's been hurt, what he's done. And I'm like, we're all hurt. We have all gone through this bullshit, you know? And so he was at my house for, I don't even remember what we were doing. And I told him, I said, I know I have an addictive personality. And I said, I smoked a pack of cigarettes a day for 15 years. Still to this day, I vape all day, every day. I'm not proud of it. I've tried to quit twice this past year.
I was thinking about starting again. Should I?
No, don't do it. We stopped for like 2 years because my husband had jaw surgery, and I was like, fuck, okay, fine.
You
like,
didn't sneak it on the side?
Nope.
Oh,
I literally sat in my driveway, and I was like, okay, he's having surgery. Like, I need to throw this mod, whatever the fuck you call it, away in the trash because, like, I mean, like in the actual dumpster trash can, because then I know I'm not going to go in there and dig it out, right? And I'm like,
I just went and bought a new one. That's what I did. I threw mine away 3 times.
Yeah.
Those things aren't cheap.
No, they're not.
You don't vape the mods still, do you? Or
no, it's like a.
You got the like a
refillable.
What do you vape? You vape. I know you do. I've seen it.
Oh Jesus!
Don't put my shit out on the street.
Huh? Everybody in the world knows you vape.
No, they don't. Now they do. I mean, I'm trying to quit.
Now they do.
I'm trying to quit too.
Me too. It's okay. Here's my thing, and this is me knowing I have the addictive personality. I'm like, well, I hardly ever drink.
Sure, I need my vice.
Everyone has their vice. That's exactly what I say. And I'm like, to me, I'm like, how freaking hypocritical do I sound? And how do I feel?
Sure.
You know, my kids, Mom, why do you vape? I'm like, it's an adult thing. Like, and I'm like, why do I? And I'm like, because it's better than smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, you know? But it's not. No. You know?
We don't know for sure. We don't.
I know.
I think it probably is, but we don't know for sure.
My mom.
It
Steph,
definitely
you should really get your lungs
stink.
checked. I said, oh, I think you should get your liver checked.
Ooh.
She was like, what? I was like, I hardly ever drink because I know I have a problem. If I really like get down to the nitty gritty, I'm like, I know. That's why I never tried Coke, because number one, it's going to make me feel good. And my whole life I was the thick sister. So it's going to make me feel good and make me skinny all day. Let's do this.
Right.
And I'm glad I never did, because I'm like, it is what it is. Like, no. It's scary.
I mean, part of your therapy is probably your brand new clothing line too.
Yeah.
It's a form of expression. It's a form of way of you to be able to be out loud with your own process and your own healing journey.
Yeah.
Because It definitely does, especially now in like this kind of time. I feel for addicts, especially right now, is the time to get sober. It's fucking on and popping. It's
Right.
the best thing in town.
Yep.
It's the best. It's not only is it cool, or at least I think that we're making it cool.
Yeah.
And like amongst other people that are being vocal about it, because it is the best thing that you could possibly do for yourself and the people that love you.
Mm-hmm.
But there needs to be a space for people like yourself to recover out loud.
Yeah.
You know, to heal out loud as well.
Yeah.
Because there isn't that many people that I see talking about it from your perspective.
And that's why when you guys had posted that you were looking for people to come on here, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is a perfect opportunity for me to not only tell my story, but like know or help people that have dealt with what I've dealt with from this perspective of a sibling, know that they're not alone.
For sure.
And I've read a lot. I did a whole bunch of workbooks,
Yep.
Nar-Anon family group meetings, stories, like movies, stories, books, whatever. And 99% of the time, it's the parent's perspective, the addict's perspective, or their like spouse or love,
Sure.
like partner, whatever. And I'm like, yo, what about the siblings? And then, like I said, not to mention, she's my only sibling, you know?
Well, there's a lot of resentment with siblings because you have to think that the vast majority of all of the attention goes to the addict.
Yeah.
So the sibling that is actually doing okay or doing well or thriving in their life, they feel, I don't know personally, but I have siblings and I've heard from their perspective, they feel neglected because they're the ones.
I 100% feel that way. And I never want to come off. And I think that's why I eat crow with certain things, because I don't want to have the victim mentality.
Sure.
I want to have the mentality of I'm turning my pain into passion.
But you mentioned it before, your thing that you thrive or like that you crave is succulence, right?
Oh,
Love. You want love from your parents. You want the acknowledgement from your parents. You desire and crave that. So do other siblings. So when you're the one of two or one of four or one of five, and all of that love that you think, which is not true, because your parents love each child in their own way.
Right.
But their love is getting sucked to the one that has the problem because they're sick. Yet the other sibling is feeling unloved and not paid attention to and not fulfilled in that way.
Well,
So
let's
it's
just
And it's transferred over to not
Sure.
just my sister, but now that they have my nephew,
Totally.
I'm like, you have 2 other grandkids.
Oh my God, this is crazy. It's wild.
let's just put it out there, addicts, guys. We as addicts stir up a lot of controversy.
A lot of stuff.
A lot of controversy, and we take our dis-ease, which if you put them together is dis-ease, right? We take our dis-ease, and we spill it into every single person. So by saying this, what I'm hoping though is that family members, loved ones, siblings, parents, whoever you are, spouses, go do your work. Even if the addict isn't getting healthy.
Right.
Go do
Especially
your-
when
Especially
Yes.
because the reason why I say this is go get your own healing, because 2 broken people doesn't make one whole person. It just continues the damage. And I want to say though, the scariest part for parents is losing their loved one. There is such a term as we can love the addict to death.
For sure. That's why they
That
name
is
it.
a thing. But on the other, this is the hard truth that interventionists have to tell family members. One, what you're doing could be putting the nail into their coffin.
Yeah.
If your loved one is an addict, or your daughter comes over and asks you for $20, and you give them that $20, that $20 could be the last $20 that they use on drugs that could take their life. But I also want to be clear that not giving them that $20, and an addict can still die no matter what you do.
Yeah.
We have a disease. It is chronic. It is progressive. It gets worse, never better. That's how we know it's a disease. And if left untreated, it truly is fatal. We talk about in the Narcotics Anonymous program that we end up in 3 different places as an addict: jails, institutions, or death.
Do they even have institutions anymore?
Well, this is like Hope by the Sea, our drug and alcohol treatment center, is considered an institution.
I mean, like, you
Like
hear like,
5150,
like the old ones.
So my sister
the
has
old
been
ones.
5150 a couple times.
They called them asylum.
Asylum.
And,
That's where I used to do my Nar-Anon family group meetings, was at Patton State Hospital.
oh, geez.
Yeah.
Where do you live?
North Fontana.
North Fontana. See, I grew up in a little town called Grand Terrace.
Oh, right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like my whole like kind of stomping ground was Colton. Furthest we would go is Fontana, and then Redlands. So
I like
all
Redlands.
all that whole. I
Yeah.
ended up going to Redlands High School because Colton High School was rough.
Yeah.
Kind of like Fontana High School or
Yep.
Rialto High School.
Rialto.
You know, all of those places rough high schools.
Yeah.
Out there in the big IE.
See, I went to Etowanda, and I'm like,
Oh, you went to Etowanda.
yeah. I'm like, I liked it because it was diverse.
Yeah.
But then you go over just a little bit, and it's like, ooh. Like,
Yeah.
It was diverse for us because people that got expelled, suspended, whatever, would be bussed into Etowanda. And I'm like, my dad would be like, why do you dress like that? Or my mom, why do you want to go to the thrift stores and dress like this? And I'm like, because, I don't know, it's cool.
Everybody dresses, man.
I want to know when the moment was when you wanted to create this clothing line.
Oh, gosh.
And the name behind it, Come Back Rad.
So I think I have talked about this for like 5 years with my husband. And so fast forward to when I actually saw the medium, like I had like a notepad, like I journal a lot, I meditate and sit in the driveway and do my woo-woo bullshit. And my husband makes fun of me. And
Don't make fun of it.
manifestation is a real thing, right?
I do my little woo-woo shit too.
Yeah, we have to. So then I had gone to the medium, and it was so crazy. She's like, your grandma is coming through, and she knows that there's 2 business adventures that you've been wanting to work on. And one of them was to start the clothing line, to Heal Out Loud, or go get my certification to be a personal trainer. Since I've had my son, I've lost like 130 pounds naturally.
Nice.
And I feel like that's part of my recovery for myself, like mentally. That's where I get my mental clarity and like my thoughts in my brain, and, you know, get things right, you know?
Yeah.
And so she told me that I have a way of helping people and being intuitive with certain things. And I'm like, okay. So I come home and I tell my husband everything, you know, and like a week later, he like flings out of bed, like out of nowhere in the morning. And he's like, why don't you just do it? And I'm like, what? And he's like, I'm like so tired, right? And he's like, your clothing line, like, just do it. You've been talking about this for 5 years. You're talking about it again. You have everything planned out, written out, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. My problem is that I have always underestimated myself. And I'm a super artistic person and creative. And I've like had my hands dipped in like so many different things. And I feel like when I'm not being creative, it's cloudy, if that makes sense. So I'm like, I always have something to do. If it's not, I do hair, I'm a microblading artist, I make hair oils, now this whole clothing line. If not that, I'm like having my husband build me something so I can like refurbish it at home, you know? So yeah, it actually transpired about a year ago, like come to fruition with it. I used to work at a tattoo shop, and I'm really close with my tattoo artist and his wife. And I originally was like, hey, like, can you help me with these designs? Like, it's my style, you know? And so that kind of fell through. He's having another baby. So I was like, I get it. Like, we all have our shit, you know? And so, yeah, I started just designing my own stuff. And I was like, okay, let's do this. And so little by little, I'm doing everything myself right now because I'm like, I originally had a print shop I was going to go through. I had him do my hats. But because I'm smaller and doing everything myself, I'm like, I couldn't follow through with I don't have like room to have a whole bunch of on-hand stuff. So I'm like, I've just done everything pre-sale. And it's actually like the love and support that I've gotten already from this is like, it means everything to me. And I'm like, wow. Like, when things like shock you and you're like, holy shit, like, whoa, I did it. And like, that's why coming here today, I was like, how am I not like, I wasn't nervous, So, but yeah, so I did my first launch August 1st.
Oh, wow. Wait.
So it's like a little baby.
Like literally August 1st.
Yeah.
We're in September, just so you know.
Thank you. Brought me back.
Did you see me?
For a second. I thought we were still in August.
It's like September.
So you only launched a month ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh?
It's September 5th today.
Thanks, guys.
I was looking at you like, yeah, it's not August.
Yeah, I don't know. What's wrong with me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, and the name. Where'd you come up with the name?
So, like I said, I'm a journal person, and so I had like a whole bunch of different ideas written out. And one of my girlfriends was at my house one day, and I was like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I just said, to me, I feel like whether we equate with alcoholism, addiction, me in general, and anybody else that can come out of their comfort zone, and you can wake up any time of day and be like, I'm tired of my old shit. It doesn't have to even pertain to addiction. It doesn't have to pertain to anything like that. It has to be, I think the whole mental illness, mental health is way overlooked. And I feel like we all get so caught up in social media, how we were talking about earlier, that nobody knows how to authentically be themselves. And the best thing I ever did as an adult was to dig deep and get to the core root of who I am, why I am the way I am, why do I have these triggers, why do I have this, whatever. And so the word come back was like anybody can wake up and decide to change and make those changes in a positive way, and anyone can have their own comeback. And then rad, because it's cool. It's like my favorite word.
Like
everyone makes fun of me. That's so rad.
I love it. I use rad. I use rad a lot.
Yeah.
I like rad.
Mm-hmm.
It just tells us how old we are.
Exactly. I used to get in trouble for saying radical when I was little.
That's radical.
I'm like, what the heck?
Freaking radical, dude.
Yeah.
English.
Right, dude?
Yeah, dude.
Hey, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I always say dude and rad.
Yeah.
I say dude a lot too.
I say dude all the time. Dude.
My husband, it's a joke. He's like, I'm going to count how many times you say like on the podcast.
Ooh, I don't feel like you said like too many times.
I think I did okay.
That was a big one for me.
It's hard.
It's hard.
Yes.
Do I say like anymore? Like, for sure. Like, totally, dude. It's radical.
Okay.
Huh? Okay. So there was a trend going around where people were doing that, and it was funny. Well, that's really rad. I hope that at the end of the day, I just want to say one last thing to you about, I hope that you just hold on to like just maybe the most baby mustard seed of hope.
Yeah,
sure. That your sister will find, what we found.
Mm-hmm.
Not for you, but for herself.
For her, absolutely.
For her children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But for herself first. I hope that whether she does or doesn't, I do hope that she does. I hope that you find and continue on your journey of healing.
Mm-hmm.
And your parents.
And I hope your parents find
peace.
Some peace as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy.
No.
And I hope that this episode really touches people that are struggling with people that are struggling. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense, because it makes sense to me.
Give them some comfort.
It does, yeah. That there's, you're not alone. Like, family members, you're not alone. Mm-hmm. Just like us addicts, we're not alone. Mm-hmm. And I hope that any addicts that are watching this, whether they're struggling or whether you're in recovery, especially if you're in recovery, though, if you're struggling, I hope that you see that. The damage that you're causing the people that love you, and stop being so fucking selfish and go get some help.
Mm-hmm.
And then I hope that y'all that are in recovery, like I'm in recovery, you know, almost made myself cry right there. Reach out to the people that love you and tell them thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And that I love you for putting up with me for all that time when I was insane. Because I can tell you that there was a time, and it's on video, my sister telling, you know, we were doing like a, you know, Hope by the Sea video, and, you know, she told everybody that there was a time when she just hoped that I would die because it would stop the pain that everybody was going through and the insanity that everybody was going through, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
I literally, not to interrupt you, I feel like when I talk to my clients, I'm like, I feel like I have mourned someone that's still alive.
it's
And
terrible.
there's been times where I've gone out, like when my kids are babies, pushing a double jogging stroller. I'm like, you fat bitch, get out there and like lose this baby weight, right? And I would come home like hot mess, bawling, crying, not even knowing. And then it would be like, my husband's like, dude, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I literally just planned out what I would say at my sister's funeral.
Yeah. For real.
Mm-hmm. And it's never, I can remember a time being like, if she did die, would it be easier? Not for me, my parents.
Yeah.
Not that I wanted that, but it's like this turmoil, this chaos. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Yeah. What we say in the program is, you know, if you want something different, you have to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
You do. And, you know, like even for family members, for parents, you know, and I'm not specifically talking to your parents because I don't know your parents. But if they ever want to come on the podcast and talk to us, they're welcome to come on. But like family members, man, like, if you want something different because the definition of insanity works for the family members too. It's not just us that are out there doing crazy shit. If you're continuing doing the same cycle with that addict, with your loved one, with your child or whatever, and you expect that there's something different's going to happen, it's not going to be different this time.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has to change.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want change in your own life, you have to do something different.
Right.
And you do. You have to set boundaries. You're not doing the wrong thing by setting a healthy boundary for yourself. Sister, I can't see you anymore.
Can I show you some things? Because everything we're talking about is literally designs that I've come up with about chasing sanity, backbones, and boundaries. And
true.
Every single one of my designs has a story like that behind it. And I'm like, it's crazy that you guys are even saying this stuff because I don't know.
Pull it out.
Yeah.
We'll put it up for the camera.
And I just want to be clear
been
too.
on the floor the whole time.
Like this is a boundary is literally going to be different for every human being. Like we're not saying there is a right or wrong way to treat an addict, you know? A family or parents are always going to be different than
they are, but I always recommend that somebody gets professional. Like go to a professional.
for sure.
You know, like ask an interventionist, ask a drug and alcohol counselor. Therapists don't always have the actual right answer in this specific case unless they've specifically been trained in addiction, in the addiction space.
Oh my God, how cute.
Backbone and boundaries,
That's
guys.
cute. Oh, I'm going to hold it up.
Oh, I'm actually wearing this one. Duh.
Backbone.
Chasing sanity.
Chasing sanity. It's dope.
Yeah, show it. Oh, this cute little, oh, it feels good too.
Yeah, it's nice and soft.
You got me on camera? Wait. You're going to have to, I'll show them up. Wait, can you see her or me?
Oh, step over this way a little bit. Or wait, no, I'll go that way. Sorry, I put you the wrong way. Yeah, right there.
Oh. Oh, yeah, so it's nice and clear.
Yeah.
And this is the front.
That one says what? Backbones and boundaries?
That's right. Super cute. Oh, yeah, that's what you're wearing.
It's weird because we were talking about
Sanity?
Yeah.
Chasing Sanity.
This is the back. Oh, how cute. The design's so cute. It has the little...
Yeah.
I love it. Good for
A
you.
bunch of stuff. Rebel mentality. My actual logo is a brain and a heart together.
Oh, wow.
There's that. And then I think this is a logo too. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of different designs. These are my Halloween ones I'll be launching this weekend.
Don't get caught in the web.
Oh, how cute.
Oh, I mean, that's a good one. Don't get caught in the web of addiction. I mean, family members and, if the addict's already caught in the web of addiction, don't get caught with them. Don't get stuck up in there with them.
Right.
That's for real. That's real stuff. Because
that.
we addicts, just so y'all know, we take hostages.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Take hostages.
Yeah,
That's what we
That's a
do.
fact.
Well, thank you again so
This is
much
awesome.
for coming down.
Yes,
and,
thank you.
Um,
And congratulations with everything.
There's some hats here.
And we definitely are praying for you and your family to keep doing. I mean, you guys are doing it
Thank you.
as best.
Yeah,
There's no.
Lewis,
None of us.
Lewis, come back, rad, dude.
Wait, it looks good.
Yeah, I don't have it on.
I know, but it actually looks like you do.
Right?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
Cool, good stuff.
amazing.
Some more. I don't want to call this sober merch. I want to call this like This is like recovery merch, though.
Recovery merch.
Yeah.
And for the last thing is, for people that want your merch, where do they go?
My website, comebackrad.com.
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 It's all pre-sale. There's a couple hats and stuff on there right now, but I'll be loading the website this weekend for a Halloween launch.
Nice.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming
thank you
in.
Thank
so
you guys
much.
so much for having
That's
me.
our pleasure.
Of course.
Yeah,
You
it's
killed
awesome.
it.
Thank you.